What's up, guys? Crazy Star Wars fan 108 here, and I'm back with another video. Today, guys, I'm going to give you my thoughts over the very first issue of the new Star Wars comic, Star Wars Allegiance, which is a part of the Rise to Skywalker journey of books, or the journey to the Rise of Skywalker is how it's actually, said. And I just want to give you guys my thoughts over this first issue and let you know what I kind of thought. There's a lot of cool little things that are put into this issue that just kind of get my head spinning and kind of curling around going like, what's happening? So if you want to know in terms of placement, where does this story go? Where does it sit inside, the year time gap, at least the year time gap between this and between Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker? Well, it appears to be closer to the Last Jedi than it is to the Rise of Skywalker, because they're still kind of on the run. They're still very much on the brink of any sort of having any new ships or anything like that. They're still running from the Empire, the First Order, and the big issue that they're dealing with is that they're still trying to find, more support, more allies. So there's a lot of different threads happening in this. First, we open up on a planet that had the Empire, or that's been around and been stayed out of the conflict for most things for the entirety of this planet being inhabited from the sound of it. And they usually are a place that they welcome in people, no matter who they are, to come, stay and, not harbor them, but they just welcome people to come, for safe, passage through there. And the First Order shows up and they're like, hey, we just, we're living up to what we do. And General Hux is leading this armada of ships, and he's like, yeah, that's what you guys did. Past tense. And then proceeds to wipe them out, wipe out the planet, not let any people escape. So they basically get Alderaan, and that's pretty crazy. They get New Republic. I mean, that's wild, So after this happens, news gets back to Leia, and Leia feels bad, and she decides, you know what? Instead of sitting around here and being in hiding, I have to do something. So she, Chewie, and Rose, and I think maybe R2 and 3PO. I know for sure it's Chewie and Rose. They board the Falcon, and they need a pilot, so they go to get Rey. And so once they go to grab Rey, they plan to head to a planet to see about that. And the planet they plan on heading to is Mon Cala. So we'll get back to that in a second. Where's Finn and Poe, though, and BB-8? Well, Finn, Poe, and BB-8 are all on a separate mission to find a New Republic weapons cache, which is housing a whole bunch of confiscated weapons the New Republic got, which could be a great help to the Resistance, obviously. So that's what their mission is on for, but they end up, they don't get caught in this issue, but Finn does get caught in this issue, or he gets at least seen, and so by this group of bounty hunters, which this is how you can kind of place where the story is in timeline, because this takes place before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And with that being said, in Galaxy's Edge, there's a group of bounty hunters that's prominent in that comic, and they are shown here inside the Star Wars Allegiance issue 1, going after Finn. I think when I remember reading it, or skimming through most of that 5-issue miniseries, it was mentioned in there that they had been searching for Finn, I think, at one point. So Finn has a hit out on him by the First Order, and the First Order, we cut to them, and they're one of the officers trying to tell Hux, no, I think this bounty hunter called this in. It seems like it's a pretty legitimate, lead. It matches every description and stuff. And Hux is like, if you don't know for sure, it doesn't matter. If you just think we don't have time for those sorts of things. But then Supreme Leader Kylo Ren shows up and is like, nah, we have time to track down any lead, any possible way, because we're going to snuff them out, we're going to wipe the Resistance out, period, point blank. There's going to be no more of them. And I just dig Kylo Ren. I don't know if it's because Adam Driver's such a great actor. I know it's a part of it. Or I don't know if it's because I like the way that, Kylo Ren or Ben Solo's been written. I think it's a mixture of both, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the Rise of Skywalker, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen throughout the rest of Star Wars Allegiance and the rest of the 3 issues of the series, because it's weird, and it's cool though, because Kylo goes to his arm is stretched like he's about to force choke Hux for being incompetent, for not almost blowing this thing. However, Kylo just reaches out and adjusts his collar. It's oh, okay. And so now I want to go into the other 2 big things I think for this issue. Main big thing is that Rey seems to be having trouble using the Force, or focusing with the Force, so she's having trouble feeling confident about herself, because she feels like she's a letdown. She's not what everyone thought she was going to end up being. And I don't know if that's her referencing the fact that they thought she was going to be the one to save them and bring Luke Skywalker back to them, or they thought she could be the new Luke for them. Either way, she's having struggles, not feeling like she's not going to live up to that, which is a cool and interesting little dynamic to have and deal with in this series. And I'm curious to see what's going on, because there's the fan theories, from what I understand, is that, you know, Rey's so strong in the Force partially because of her connection to Kylo that was bridged by Snoke in The Force Awakens, thus having there be the awakening in her. Have you felt it? Yeah. And so when Rey shuts the door on the Falcon and closes off and cuts off the connection between her and Ben, her connection to the Force now is weakened because of it. And if that is the case, that's really interesting. Or if it's the fact that Rey doesn't know how to separate cutting off herself from Ben and cutting off herself from the Force, and so it's overlapping a bit, that would be interesting as well too. Either way, it's really kind of cool to see that Rey's having this struggle, and it'll be interesting to see how she overcomes it by the end of the series, or if it's something that she's still dealing with come Rise of Skywalker. Because that seems to be a seed planted for Rise of Skywalker stuff. The First Order destroying planets that like harbor the Resistance, another thing. So I think it's kind of cool, little small placements of things, and then I think this will also explain, oh hey, here's where some of the New Republic ships, here's where some of the Resistance ships came from, and yada, and things like that. So I'm very interested to see where these things all head and go on the following issues. So yeah, you know, I hope you guys enjoy listening to me talk and give like my small thoughts and reviews over the latest Star Wars comic book. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next week when another issue comes out and we cover that. And then I didn't announce this before, but I plan on, I think I might have said in the Force Friday haul, but I plan on talking about the latest Star Wars comic books that are coming out from here on out. I know I said that a little bit before earlier, but when the Star Wars line was getting a reboot, it looks like Dr. Aphra is going to a close, and a lot of these other things, I said, you know what? I'll just wait until it starts off with #1 again. It's coming up, and then we're going to start fresh. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, guys, may the Force be with you always, and I'll see you around later. Bye.